Hello guys, today I'm back with Leviticus chapter 27 today. We need to say we need to say bye with Leviticus now, so we are at the last episode of Leviticus. Next one is Numbers. Is easy to read, but well, it's good. Well, it will be it will be kind of fun, I guess. So, well, let's read the last chapter of Leviticus and go to the next chapter, Numbers. Okay, let's start. Uh, Keep your promise to the Lord. Chapter 27. The Lord said to Moses, speak to the Israelites. Tell them, suppose someone makes a special promise to set the person apart to serve the Lord. Here is how much it costs to set that person free from the promise to serve. The cost for a meal between the ages of 20 and 60 is 20 ounces of silver. It must be weighed out in keeping with the standard weights that are used in the sacred tent. The cost for a B meal of the same age is 12 ounces of silver. The cost of a meal between the ages of 5 and 20 is 8 ounces of silver. The cost for a B meal of the same age is 4 ounces of silver. The cost for male between the ages of 1 month and 5 years is 2 ounces of silver. So, like a boy for 8 ounces cost a 5 to a 20-year-old boy costs 8 ounces, which is my part, if I was at BC, so before Christ. If I was before Christ right now, then I'm right now real life in Korea. Well, 10. So I'm at that part. And um, the eight, the male between the ages of 1 month and 5 years. 1 month to 5 years is 2 ounces of silver. So let's read. The cost of for a female of the same age is 1 ounce of silver. The cost for a male who is 60 years old or more is 6 ounces of silver. So this means my grandpa in BC was, wait a second. Okay, so it, or more, uh, a man that's 60 years old or more is 6 ounces of silver. It's just like that. And the cost for its female of the same age is 4 ounces of silver. But suppose the one who makes the special promise is too poor to pay the required amount, then they must bring to the priest the person who will be set free. The priest will decide the right value for that person. It will be based on how much the one who makes the promise can afford. Suppose what they promised is an animal that the Lord will accept as an offering. Then the animal given to the Lord becomes holy. The one who makes the promise must not trade it. They must not trade a good animal for a bad one, and they must not trade a bad animal for a good one. Suppose they choose one animal instead of another. Then both animals become holy. Suppose the animal they promised is not clean. Suppose the Lord will not accept it as an offering. Then the animal must be brought to the priest. He will decide whether it is good or bad. Its value will be what he decides to be. Suppose the owner wants to buy the animal back. Then a fifth must be added to its cost. Suppose someone sets apart their house as something holy, so then the priest will decide whether it is good or bad. This value will remain. He decides it will be. Suppose the person sets apart their house, and suppose later they want to buy it back. Then they must add a fifth to its value. The house will belong to them again. Suppose someone sets apart a piece of their family's land to the Lord. Then here is how its value must be decided. It must be based on the number of days that are required to grow a full crop on it. The value will be 20 ounces of silver for every 300 pounds of the barley seeds. Suppose they set apart their field during the year of Jubilee, then the value has been decided will not be changed. But suppose they set apart their field after the year of Jubilee, then here is how the priest will decide its value. It will be based on the number of years that are left until the next year of Jubilee. The value decided will be reduced. Suppose the one who set apart their field wants to buy it back, then they must add a fifth to its value. The field will belong to them again. But suppose they do not buy it back, the field instead, suppose they sell it to someone else, then they can never buy it back when the field is set free. In the year of Jubilee, it will become holy. It will be like a field set apart to the Lord. It will be the property of the priests. Suppose someone sets apart to the Lord a field that they have bought, and suppose it's not a part of their family's land, then here is how the priest will decide its value. It will be based on the number of years that are left until the year of Jubilee. The owner must pay that value on the day it is decided. The money is holy, is set apart for the Lord. In the year of Jubilee, the field will go back to the person it was brought from. That person is the one who had owned the land before. Every amount of money must be weighed out in keeping with the standard weights used in the sacred tent, and no one can set apart the first male animal born to its mother. That animal already belongs to the Lord. It does not matter whether it's an ox or a sheep, it belongs to the Lord. Suppose it is an unclean animal, then the owner may buy back its value that has been decided. They must add a fifth to its value. But suppose it is not bought back, then it must be sold back at the value that was been decided, but nothing per stone that sets apart to the Lord can be sold or brought back. It does not matter whether it is a human being or an animal or a family's land. Everything set apart to the Lord is very holy to him. No one set apart in a special way to be destroyed can be brought back. They must be put to death, since of everything the land produces belongs to the Lord. That includes grain from the soil, and the fruit from the tree that is holy is set apart for him. Suppose someone wants to buy back some of their tents, then they must add a fifth of the cost to it. Every tent's part of herds and flocks will be holy. They will be set apart for the Lord. That includes every tenth animal that is shepherd marked with a wooden staff. No one may pick the good animals from the bad. They must not choose one animal instead of another, but if anyone does, both animals become holy and can't be brought back. The Lord gave Moses all these commands on Mount Sinai for the Israelites. Read it all the book for Leviticus. So today's summary is, last summary for Leviticus is, we can get the things back that are for the Lord, but you need to think wisely. Think wisely and give it to God if you are really going to give it forever. This is the summary, so let's pray for the last time in Leviticus. It was a good time with Leviticus, but next time is Numbers. So I think let's start playing. Great. Okay. Here God today you learned about Leviticus chapter 27 today was the last Leviticus chapter, and we learned a lot. So today and tomorrow also learn about things that you give the Lord and give the Lord and think wisely before you part for the Lord. And thank you for the lesson. Thank you. Amen. Okay. So today it's the last episode of Leviticus actually. So we have Numbers as the next time. So thank you always. I guess see you next time. And Numbers.